The offseason brought drastic change for Tampa Bay Damage, who took second to champs Houston Heat at the World Cup. They lost stars Justin Rabikoff, Dave Baines, and Alex Goldman, as well as longtime coach Paul Richards. But Damage still has an amazing roster with depth in every position, so as long as their current roster executes their level of talent, they shouldn't feel those hits. Kevin S.K. Brettauer comes over from the LA Ironmen to take over the coaching position and brings the versatile Rainey Stanzik with him, who could be a big contributor. And the combined might of all-stars Chad Boucher, Dan Holiday, and the thoroughly amazing MVP Jason Edwards should be enough offense to put wins on the board. Also, the return of Brian Smith, who's back from a brief retirement, should bolster their attack on the Snake side. Overall, Damage looks as strong as they ever have, and they're a big favorite to win events this season. Moscow Red Legion came very close to winning an event last season, but fell short, placing second in both Chicago and Phoenix, though they proved their program could survive and thrive after losing high-profile players. And they're going to have to do it again in 2013, as they lost the first attackers on both the Dorito and the Snake side when Marcelo Margot and Axel Godin returned to the teams that they started their careers with. But they still have the 2012 Top Gun title holder Alexander Burnikoff and team captain Kirill Pridny, who both played out of their minds last season. Red Legion also picked up Michael Kovar from X Factor to take Axel's spot in the Snake, who will be playing in front of Rookie of the Year Jason Wheeler. Moscow still has the best coaching system in paintball, some of the best players in the league, and they are always a threat to win the PSP title.
All right, here we go. Last game of the morning's competition. We got a whole full afternoon of action coming at you. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Tom Martinez and Chris Lasoya. The next game we have coming up here we've seen these two teams play in the finals many times, and Tampa Bay Damage is about to take on Moscow Red Legion. Tampa Bay Damage, man, they looked real good early on as they defeated Edmonton Impact, and they look solid. What do you think about Moscow?
Moscow Red Legion, they're hot and cold as far as I can see. I think they look pretty decent. I think when they have to turn it in high gear, I think they can. They have the potential to do that. But let's just see what team comes out of the box to begin with.
Yeah, and Brian Smith is playing on fire so far at this event. Looks like we have Lauren Keller with one of the Russians. Let's check it out.
I am with Michael Kovar from Red Legion. You guys have to win this to advance on to Sunday, so what's your strategy going into it?
Basically, we need to play, clean. We need no penalties. The last match, we kind of had some of those, so, we had a team meeting, we focused, and, we talked about the mistakes that we need to fix. We just need to come out and play our game.
What were those mistakes you guys were talking about?
Just basically, we need to play as a team and not as individuals, and, I think that we're going to come out here and show people that kind of game.
All right, well, we'll see how they do. Back to you, Maddie.
So here we go. Now, there are a lot of penalties that last game, Chris. Let's see what do you think about these guys out here playing clean?
Well, I think they're going to have to play clean. Last year in Texas alone, there were 47 major penalties thrown and 44 minor penalties thrown. There were 0 matches that were penalty-free. So you can see, I think this might actually be one of those matches. Brian Smith, we just talked about him. He's taking the walk for Tampa Bay Damage, unfortunately. So Moscow Red Legion up by 1 body right now, Maddie.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay doubling up that back little Aztec again. And then here comes Moscow able to get into position on both the Dorito side and the Snake side of the field, as Lukashuk is now into Snake 3 and trying to get a shot cross field, but he gets taken out, but he was able to get a shot on Chad Boucher, and so he's going to walk off, and Rainey Stanzik can't get small enough with Timmy Probst in that bunker either, so body's starting to drop both teams.
Well, and we saw that a lot when Timmy Probst and Rainey Stanzik played that spot last time. One of the two died almost every game. I mean,
yeah, so I don't know if that's the move.
I don't think so. I don't think it's the move. I mean, I think maybe on the break I can see that, but get out of there and make the moves.
Well, here you see Pantaleev making a move down here on the Snake side. Good to see that he's feeling all right. He took a pretty hard fall that last Vicious game on his shoulder. But he's back in effect here. He's in the 50 Snake. And he's trying to go to work on Timmy. Vyerdnikov took off running down the field, trying to bunker out Keith Brown, but didn't get there in time.
You can see Timmy Probst right there. You just saw that last angle. He's covering that lane to protect himself or protect him across the field over there. Oh, and Timmy Probst taking a walk, Pantaleev on your screen, shooting across the field for the last elimination right there, number 17.
So here comes Moscow exerting their will immediately on Tampa Bay Damage, who had also they weren't able to get in position early and had a couple of guys die out of their spots. And also, who was playing great for Moscow Red Legion is Kirill Pridny, the team captain. And we talked in the scouting reports how they need him and Alexander Burnikoff, top title holder, to really step up, and they are. So the score is now 1-0, and let's check out a word from our sponsors. And we're back. This game brought to you by Pro Edge Paintball. They have an awesome store in Houston. And if you get a chance, man, you're in the Texas area, definitely need to check out Pro Edge Paintball. And, you know, this sport, it needs more well-run stores and companies like what they're doing at Pro Edge. And again, you know, hey, if you guys are out there and you're watching this right now, please minimize what you're watching. Pull up one of our advertisers or our sponsors and either buy something from them, email them, let them know on their Facebook, and please let them know that you totally support them supporting us, because without them, we can't bring you paintball at this level. And we're in over 100 countries, and I know there's thousands of people watching, so please help us help the sport by letting our sponsors and advertisers know that you appreciate them getting involved. So here we go. Tampa Bay Damage.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Damage sending out their line with Smith, El Yusuf, the Edwards brothers, and Keith Brown over here to this Dorito side.
Here we go. Moscow Red Legion on your screen. And they have the early advantage here, but are getting chopped up as they lose Wheeler and Kovar. They still have 3 bodies left alive, but Tampa Bay Damage has 5. And they are able to get up on the Dorito side. Now Keith Brown moving into the 50-yard line, but he catches one. Looks like Kirill Peridny got the shot in on him.
Yeah, I mean, Maddie, if you remember that World Cup where the Moscow Red Legion just pounded Aftershock into the ground in the World Cup finals, Kirill Peridny was just a shark down those Dorito side. And this is the first time I've seen him in a while really kind of playing that, where he's been the one over there. I mean, he's on the inside this point, but he's been the one on that side of the field for Moscow Red Legion this event, and he has just been attacking and getting kills left and right. Looking at Jacob Edwards on your screen right now, he's in Dorito too. Tampa Bay Damage looking to come in, but he's got Kirill Peridny right in front of him with Kevin Kalm. Alexander Bierdnikov, the lone man over here for Moscow Red Legion on the snake side of the field. You can see him at the very bottom of your screen.
And on the right side of the screen, you saw right there, Maddie and Todd, you saw them make a little bump from Dorito 1 to Dorito 2. I'm sorry, 2 to 3. And it looks like, you know, number 75 on Moscow Red Legion, that's Kirill you're talking about, protecting him. That's the guy that you can see coming down the Dorito side. He's protecting Jason Edwards, or protecting himself from Jason Edwards coming down the Doritos.
Yeah, and that's number 11. That's our Top Gun title holder right now. Best player in all of paintball in 2012 is on your screen right there, Alexander Bierdnikov. And he has 1 confirmed kill. Kirill Peridny, 3 confirmed kills. He's our kill leader in this match.
And as soon as Bierdnikov drops his gun, Brian Smith sneaks into Snake 2 and starts putting some paint over there on Kevin Kalm.
Now going heads up in the Snake right there. You see Bierdnikov can go heads up against Brian Smith.
Yeah, and so kind of a technical point here as these two teams are struggling to advance up the field, both of them losing bodies. Brian Smith, though, has been able to work his way in. Now you're looking at the Edwards brothers, Jacob and Jason. Jason, number 13, the elder, and Jacob, the younger. Jacob is smaller, plays up in front.
And that was Brian Smith shooting across the field right there, taking out Kirill.
Kirill gets owned, walks off the field.
Oh, Brian Smith trades out, but I could hear that shot on Bierdnikov from all the way up here.
So it's a 2-on-1 right now. The Edwards brothers taking on the last Moscow Red Legion player on a 1-0 game right now in favor of Red Legion.
Hey, no joke, the composure and fluidity of Brian Smith is just outstanding, man. I mean, that he didn't lose a step. He might have even gained something, or you know, or maybe my memory isn't serving me correctly, but he was such a phenom before, and he is just, does it look like Brian Smith has lost 1 step?
Not at all. No, but when you're a special talent like that, you don't just lose everything, because you have to go handle some biz, And we've seen him here and there, last year, maybe he wasn't playing with damage every event, but I'm sure he was still playing a little bit of paintball. Let's take a look at this replay on the board right here. You see Biernikov, he's getting ready to come. Brian Smith pops up real quick. They trade out. And
one thing I like about Biernikov is it's not standard.
Well, you're looking at two masters of the sport right there in both style and technical ability. I would say that Smith is a little bit smoother of a player and Biernikov is a little more power. So here we go. Who will win this current match? This is our online poll. Definitely check out all Paintball Access stuff on social media. Will Damage defeat Legion? Looks like 69% believe that Damage will take down Legion. I would say Legion, they are the underdogs, and and no one apparently seems to think that it's going to end overtime with a tie. But because of the changes of the roster from Moscow Red Legion, a little bit of an unknown for this season, as they did lose their first attackers on both the Dorito side and also on the Snake side. So remember to like us on Facebook and share all of our content. Own your passion, man. You guys love paintball, love the sport. Well, help us help the sport. Share our content, tell people to watch the webcast, and definitely let our sponsors and advertisers know that you appreciate them helping us try to take paintball to another level. Also follow us on Twitter, Instagram. I mean, how many more social networking sites are we going to see develop in the next couple years?
Seriously.
Vine, Feed. But it's interesting. It's like you have a unique ability now to really play a part, and I'm not even kidding. If you seriously, you can literally get more people involved in the sport by just taking an active role in your passion.
Yep, and on the break, all the way to Snake 1, Daniel Holiday digs and gets in there as Pantaleev gets shot on the break for Moscow Red Legion. He walks off the field. He tried to come to the corner over here on the Snake side. Biernikov, he's going to try and backfill that, and he makes it in alive. So 4 bodies alive. Good spread for Moscow Red Legion across the back line. Tampa Bay Damage with all 5 bodies alive. This is the position that you want to be in, where Damage is right now. They've got a guy in that can who can look both ways. The back Dorito, Jacob Edwards, is up in that tower. He's controlling that alleyway of all those big bunkers on the Dorito side. And then Brian Smith backing up Daniel Holiday, who's in Snake 2, trying to chop down lanes across the field.
Yeah, great field position right here for Tampa Bay Damage. And you can see, look at the body language back here. Wants to make that move. And also referee in there checking out, I think that's 31, Jacob Edwards, and he is rolling his gun towards that Snake side of the field.
And Chad Bougere bumps up into the Dorito 2. Good shots all across the field from that Dorito 1 and Dorito 2. Jacob Edwards trades out with number 7, Zakharov, giving Damage still the body advantage. A little bit better field position now. It's going to free up Daniel Holiday. Daniel Holiday is going to run up on Lukashuk. Missed him the first time. Comes back over the top and blows Lukashuk away.
I don't think he knew he was there, because he's running up shooting at the back corner, and then he just happens to go, ah!
Nah, he did not know he was there. So Lukashuk's got to get that kill, man. You got to trade out with Holiday right there, not let him just continue to have a little kill festival in the Snake.
I'm surprised he didn't just go get him.
Holiday's going off right now. Shoots Kirill out of that Dorito 3 across the field. And just 1 body left, Alexander Biernikov. Staring at several damaged players right now. Chad Bougere got shot on the other side of the field, but still 3 bodies alive.
Well, Tampa Bay Damage is going to be really hard to beat if you're going to have Brian Smith and Dan Holiday over here just having a little trade-off of who can play the Snake better.
And Holiday taking another body right there. He just
got himself, well, he earned those, man. He earned those. And got himself a 4-pack on that.
4-pack.
He did.
Count it. Count that last one, too.
Good
Got
job,
Kirill
Jake.
Pridney, got Lukashuk, Zakharov, and Biernikov as well. So amazing job right there by Dan Holiday, putting in some work.
Yeah, I just saw that go up, Maddie, as you guys were talking. Didn't want to interrupt you guys. Minor penalty right now on Edwards.
Yeah, I saw, as I was looking at Kirill walk off the field, he took a couple extra bonus balls and then gave one of those turnarounds like, hey, what the heck, man? And then you saw the ref run over to Jason Edwards, so I'm guessing that's what the unsportsmanlike was for.
You know, I like Jason Edwards getting a minor penalty is really not that big of a deal. I think, you know, that these guys can recover from something like that. That's 2-1 in favor of Tampa Bay Damage. But after these messages, let's come back and let's talk a little more about that.
Slovak with Houston Heat. What makes the Virtue Spire the best litter in paintball? The Spire is smaller, lighter, holds more paint, easier to use, easier to take apart, easier to change back and forth from a lid to a speed feed, and most importantly, the thing never jams. Find out more at virtuespire.com.
Привет, это Кирилл Прихидный из Русского Легиона. Так что же делает Спайр лучшим фидером? Россия — это страна с очень сложными погодными условиями. У нас есть и дождь, и снег, и мороз. Так вот, Спайр — это единственный фидер, который продолжает подавать. Заходите на virtuespire.com и посмотрите все сами своими.
And we're back. We're back here now. Right now, 2013 PSP Dallas Open. What a great game right here by two powerhouse teams. Tampa Bay Damage taking on Moscow Red Legion. Let's take a look at this replay, Todd. Why don't you talk us through this?
Yeah, so here's Daniel Holiday coming up doing the creep. Tries to get that shot on Lukashuk, misses him. Comes right back over the top, sticks him real quick as Lukashuk tries to make an effort to come out. Dan Holiday, yeah, he knew he was there. He came to get him. Came over the top, said, oh, still there.
See, now, me personally, Todd, what I would have done if I was Lukashuk, he knows I'm here. He's going to shoot me. Go down the highway and just shoot him from the inside. I mean, you might get blown up in the back, but you're going to trade out at least instead of getting blown to pieces like that.
Yeah, sometimes that action happens so quick, you're just like, oh, God!
Yeah,
that's clean.
But that's that composure, man. You know, Lukashuk,
Yeah.
Holiday more composed and was able to pull it out, and that's why.
Yeah, some people get flustered. People like Brian Smith go, hello. You will die now.
You know, right there at my tower, I'm looking at that. I like that move a lot. I'm telling you, I'm a big fan. And if you guys can get up there, and I mean, I like how he's locking off the Dorito side right now.
Oh, that's your tower now, Chris?
Well, I mean, I own that. I would own that tower. That would have my name on it. As you dive in, there'll be a little brass thing.
All
or a
right,
little
I'll give you that.
copper thing.
You're
in the
right.
ground.
Yeah, that would have been you.
No, but honestly, I like this going at the middle stuff. You know, diving in the snake. There's a lot of these drop shots, Maddie, coming over the snake and clipping out these guys as they're grabbing it. Here comes the pain down the middle of the field. Look at this move all the way down the middle, Todd.
Oh, man. And there's that burst of speed we were talking about out of Chad Bougere. Straight down the pipe, bunkers out Kirill from the Losoya Tower, and puts just two bodies left for Moscow Red Legion. Both of them over there on the Dorito side of the field. And here comes the snake push from Brian Smith and Timmy Probst.
You know, they're going to be on the hills. But shooting across the field from those towers, those guys right there shooting across the field actually have some pretty decent shots coming into this snake, Todd.
Yeah, they do. I mean, we saw Oliver Lang yesterday put a couple shots from that back Dorito to save a couple games for San Diego Dynasty, you know, right over the top of that snake as they turn the corner.
You know, and here, there was that heads-up ball. Look at Brian Smith shooting that shot right there across the field. That they can. Shooting out Baryshnikov. That was a great shot right there. I mean, that was a great camera angle. You guys could see where he's shooting at.
It's a good shot right there, and it's Tampa Bay Damage looking real fluid, real calm, collective.
Great point right there by Tampa Bay Damage.
You know, just Tampa Bay Damage looking real solid right now, going up 3-1 against Moscow. And their composure is very impressive. They look very fluid, and they're pushing forward, but even though they're pushing forward and they're trying to press the action, they're doing so very methodically. And you can just see in that body language how comfortable they are in their spots, how comfortable they are playing with each other. It's a very impressive look right now for Tampa Bay Damage.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we expected from them. Yeah, you know, they had some change in the roster, change in their coach, but, you know, the same solid core of players. You know, the mentality that team has and the reason why they've been so successful for so long is just the players, their experience, their style of play, and their understanding for the game. You know, they still have so many players that have played together for such a long time. And, you know, they give themselves an opportunity to be successful at all times because they all play hard, they all play consistently, and they're all, you know, just really, really experienced players.
Yeah, so, you know, we only have a 2-point gap right now between the scores. The score is 3-1. Chris, what do you think Moscow needs to do to get back in this match?
They got to slow down this snake side. They got to get up in the middle. You know, they got to just do the same things. I think they should mirror what they're doing. I mean, coming down this snake side, Brian Smith, Daniel Holiday, I mean, all these guys are doing a really good job about getting down here. But on the flip side, the Edwards brothers on those Doritos sides, they got to slow those guys down as well. So I think they just have to shoot better lanes and start getting the G's on the break. I think that will control the field for them.
I think they need to get, I agree, they need to get the snake going over here. We haven't really seen as well a more coordinated push from Moscow as we have seen from Tampa Bay Damage. They have Holiday and Smith in here pushing the action, and they've put some guys over here, but no one's really stepped up on this snake side and really asserted that, hey, this is my spot. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put the team on my back, because we're seeing that on the Doritos side as Kirill's playing real well over there right now. You know, Kirill Pridny is by far the kill leader. I wouldn't say by far, but he has 5 confirmed kills to Alexander Viernikov's 3.
And on the breakout right now, you see the Moscow Red Legion taking this snake side just like you talked about, Maddie. And also to contend him over here, you got Brian Smith and number 33 on Tampa Bay Damage.
Ooh, and nice shot on Kirill right away. Kirill got into a gun battle with, I believe, either Keith Brown.
Yeah, it looks like it was Keith Brown.
Yeah, Keith Brown. Nice shot on Kirill in the loader and out of that can.
And Mikhail Kovar, there's that drop shot I talked about you saw on your screen that's coming over top of the snake 1 and hitting you. And
I was just going to say, when Kovar was getting in there, hey, finally Kovar's getting in the snake. They picked Kovar up to play the snake for them. He was a solid vet on San Antonio X Factor for years, and he moved to Europe, so Moscow is giving him the nod on that side. So he needs to step over here and really help his new team out by starting to contend with Smith and Holiday, who are just getting it done on the snake side of the field for Damage.
Yeah, and Pantaleev taking the walk over here also on the snake side. So snake side wide open. Baryshnikov's just going to wear it here in 1 second. And there,
oh, Holiday almost got through, but got tore up right before he got.
Oh, and Brian Smith got caught sleeping on the snake side of the field, Maddie.
Yeah, so it's Viernikov get it done over here. Well, he was getting protected. It's because there's just 2 of them. Well, I think that was the new pickup. Kevin Colm comes over from Icon from France, and he's also one of those players that is going to try to prove himself in his rookie season here in the PSP Pro League.
You know, and he had a pretty standout game last game. I was looking at his stats. You know, I didn't really call his name out too much, but he had about, I want to say, 6 to 8 confirmed kills that last game, Maddie.
Yeah, he's putting in work out there when they played their game against Vicious.
And, you know, right there, you know, Baryshnikov just looking to get an angle on that center of the field. There's 2-on-2 right now. Look for Baryshnikov to get in the snake here as soon as possible.
And there it goes. Jumps right at number 2. Jason Edwards, not the spot he wanted to be in there in the middle of the field. But he also has a little bit of help, too. He's tucked way in. Viernikov's going to have to come down that snake to get the angle on his back. He's got Keith Brown protecting him. 2-on-2 battle right now.
How crucial is this point? 3-1 in Tampa Bay Damage. They got to win this point for sure.
Well, they don't need to win this because they're winning, but it would be big to stop the momentum of Moscow, because now we got ourselves a 1-on-1 right here, as it's the rookie Kevin Colm from Moscow Red Legion, and he is against Keith Brown.
Man, good communication right there between Edwards and Brown on Viernikov's move to be able to trade out. Brown stepping way back and now, created this 1-on-1 situation to where now Brown doesn't have to go anywhere. You know, that could have gone really bad. That could have had Viernikov shooting Edwards in the back, and then this become a 2-on-1 to where Keith Brown was undermanned. But, you know, now creating an opportunity to give Keith Brown a chance to win this point.
Well, I was impressed that Baryshnikov actually picked Edwards up, because he kind of snuck out of there a little bit and had the angle, and now that could have been a really bad thing if he shoots Burn. Oh, and he clips him in the loader. Good job by Keith Brown.
So in the battle of front players, Keith Brown takes the victory in this particular point. Man, that's a tough 1-on-1 to lose for Kevin right there, man. You know, that would have put it to a 2-point match, and instead. That's tough, man. The 7:30 left, unfortunately, for Moscow. The rookie for them not able to get it done. We'll be right back.
Keith Brown.
Hey, it's Nick Slovak with Houston Heat. What makes the Virtue Spire the best loader in paintball? The Spire is smaller, lighter, holds more paint, easier to use, easier to take apart, easier to change back and forth from a lid to a speed feed, and most importantly, the thing never jams. Find out more at virtuespire.com.
Привет, это Кирилл Прихидный из Русского Легиона. Так что же делает Спайр лучшим фидером? Россия — это страна с очень сложными погодными условиями. У нас есть и дождь, и снег, и мороз. Так вот, Спайр — это единственный фидер, который продолжает подавать. Заходите на virtuespire.com и посмотрите все сами своими.
All right, there you see the referees on the field. Keith Brown on your screen, age 20, 5'7", 140, front player out of Florida. And, man, Keith Brown, you talk about players, up in their game. He's really – last year, I believe, was his first full season because he came in, I think, at World Cup in 2011 and played incredible. And everybody's like, whoa, who's this kid? And then last year really showed that he that he can play paintball and that he belongs in this league and on this team. And, Keith Brown, really cool kid when you talk to him. And you understand why, he's such a sponge and he's able to pick up so many different things from all the other players on Tampa Bay Damage. And, really great pickup for him. They develop him, and just,
Well, the thing on
big one-on-one right there.
Yeah, big one-on-one win for him. Proving, hey, look, guys, I know Smith's out there killing it, Holiday's out there killing it. We have all these stars, but hey, I can play this game too, and I'm going to prove it by winning a one-on-one and take this to a 4-1 match. It would have been a 1-point match, but now it's a 3-point match. 7:20 on the clock. Holiday coming off early for Tampa Bay Damage.
Yeah, and also, Moscow Red Legion losing one player going up the center too. And also, there comes one of the Edwards brothers taking the walk as well. So 3-on-4 right now in favor of Moscow Red Legion as far as bodies goes.
Yeah, and they need to take advantage of this situation, man. The game is starting to tick. The time clock's starting to tick down. Under 7 minutes. This is a huge point for them. Moscow must win this point. Looks like Lukashuk. Did he get shot? Yeah, he did. So, and that is going to do it for him over here on the Snake side. And here comes big move. Here comes Chad Boucher.
That was a waste because he thought the guy was in there, but he actually shot the guy earlier. Here comes the Moscow Red Legion coming down the field. I want those guys to get up the middle of the field. That's what they need to do, because honestly, they're not getting outside very well. I mean, well, obviously this isn't really a test to that, but they need to get up the middle of the field. I'm a strong believer about that.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of good play up that center of the field from a couple teams, but some of the better teams seem to have kind of abandoned it. And I think that maybe they're holding off for the later rounds of play to start throwing that wild, crazy 8-ball play up there.
Yep.
We'll see.
I do think there's a lot to do up there, but also, getting outside, we're starting to see a lot more of these lanes getting shot, and people getting dinged coming around Snake 1 to Snake 2. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's coming from those Doritos across the field. I didn't quite get a chance to look at it, but, this field is very well put together. And, Matt, we were talking about this earlier because I wasn't sure who put it together. And somebody like yourself who has the vast experience, while we have this timeout, we'll have a little bit of chance to talk. While you have a vast experience in different, we're talking woods, hyperball, all the way until now. So the game has come so far that these field situations for viewability is very important.
What we're seeing right now is a distilled, more potent version of the paintball that's existed since the first tournaments began. Started out in the woods with 20-man teams and 15-man teams and hour-long games, and then slowly but surely as time progressed became more viewable, and sub airball came out, hyperball, etc. Obviously that's a long story, but what we're watching right now is the most refined version of paintball that exists. And it's really amazing because what we're doing is we're able to see all these awesome moves from these players and really dissect the athleticism, the skill, and the talent of the best players in the world.
Yeah, you're right. This league and the Premier Paintball Race to 7, what you're seeing right now is the Premier Paintball. These guys are the best players in the world, hands down.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you don't think you can be one of these players, think again, because you can. You put the dedication to work in.
Well, look at what CP's done, man. Just so impressive. Todd, talk us through this replay here.
Yeah, here comes Lukashuk right now as he tries to get airborne and go from that temple straight into Snake 3. Whoa. Gets a little bump. Kind of underestimated the distance on that one a little bit and got shot in the back as he dove.
Well, he got the assist from the bunker.
And here comes that last bunker toot move, Matty.
Yeah, running down there and getting that last kill and making it a 2-point match right here is Moscow Red Legion. So these two high-powered teams, and Moscow with a couple new players, and their vets are playing well. Alexander Biernikov is playing very well, and as well as Kirill Peridny. Kirill, 5 confirmed kills, and who needs to step up right now is Jason Wheeler. Jason Wheeler, our Rookie of the Year from 2012. As we're looking in the pits, there is our Top Gun award winner, Alexander Biernikov, flanked by the rest of his teammates. But like I was saying, Jason Wheeler, 0 confirmed kills right now, and he was playing on the Snake side, the 2 on the Snake side support player behind Axel Godin, who goes to the Tauntauns, and Wheeler needs to step it up to help out his team. We're gonna be right back after this.
Inventory of any paintball retailer. From our massive selection of guns to our endless supply of goggles, ansgear.com can supply your every paintball need. We have a large selection of paint in stock and the best loaders on the market. Our huge inventory of jerseys and pants ensures that we have sizes for all different types of players. Don't forget, we also carry the highest quality paintball tanks. With your choice of free shipping on orders over $100 to next day, Saturday, or international shipping options, you get the products you need sooner. Shop now at ansgear.com.
Coming back to the field, Rainey Stanzik, Jason Edwards, awesome back players. Looks like they are both taking the field at the same time. Keith Brown, Timmy Probst, and Brian Smith also taking the field for Tampa Bay Damage as they're on this timeout after they lost that last point to Moscow Red Legion. The score, 4-2, 6 minutes and 7 seconds remaining.
You got Rainey Stanzak, Jason Edwards, Timmy Probst, Keith Brown, and Brian Smith on the field over there for Tampa Bay Damage. Bierdnikov, Lukashuk, Wheeler, Kovar, and Peridny for the Moscow Red Legion up the middle of the field. Alexander Bierdnikov tries it for a second game in a row and gets into the Losoya Tower and starts shooting out.
Brian Smith
in the pack first. Timmy Probst still in there on the snake side. And Moscow Red Legion really likes to backfill into that snake corner. Lukashuk, he gets in there.
I think they like actually going from that corner into the snake instead of crossing over from that tower. I mean, the little Aztec like everybody else has been getting shot from.
Well, we saw Kovar yesterday. He ran to the corner on the break and just ran right around it straight into the snake.
You know, and right now, look on their heels right now. And Rainey Stanzak. I'm sorry, not Rainey Stanzak. But look, oh, see, we're talking about that getting clipped over top of that bunker. We just talked about that a little while ago, Maddie.
Well, and you see that as soon as that happened, Michael Kovar got up and started yelling at his coach on the sidelines, who he felt maybe sent him to his death.
And Lukashuk fills in. He comes from the corner on into snake two. Still has Bierdnikov right to the inside of him at the A, locking off this side of the field, but Timmy Probst isn't going to go anywhere right now. So Bierdnikov starts wrapping and puts a ball in on Jason Edwards' loader.
Oh, wow. If Bierdnikov can get across, he does.
Oh, wow.
That was such a beautiful move right there into guns.
Oh,
such amazing timing.
Jason Edwards comes out clean. Keith Brown sees Bierdnikov on his side of the field. He tries to make a move to counter that, but he gets shot by Kirill in the 50 Dorito.
Just didn't have the angle on that. You know, can't really shoot that bunker from that spot. It's blocked out by that tower. Oh, but he finally does take a shot. I think, was that?
That was Edwards.
Yeah, Edwards, Jason Edwards. Able to sneak that in. And that's going to do it. So we got ourselves a very close 1-point game as Moscow surging back finally here against Tampa Bay Damage.
Yeah, I mean, you remember, you know, when Lauren Kelly was talking to Kovar before the game, he said, we didn't really play like ourselves. Their first game was against Moscow Red Legion, or I'm sorry, against Edmonton Impact. And Impact beat them up pretty good. And you could tell that Red Legion weren't really on their game. Then Legion played Aftershock and beat them up pretty good. They didn't have to play yesterday, so they had all day to watch a lot of good games. And then they came back out again today, put a beating on Vicious, and they're hanging around in this game against a very good Tampa Bay Damage team. And I think that this game right here could get really interesting with 4 minutes left on a 1-point game. Tampa Bay Damage fighting for that bye. Tampa Bay Damage, if they can get this win, that would put them at 4-0 after they beat Impact, you know, in a really penalty-ridden game this morning. So good news for Tampa Bay Damage if they can get that bye, but Russian Legion fighting really hard, you know, to try and make it 3-1 and make it come to a point differential.
Right, and with that said, you know, point differentials are very key in this, Maddie, and how that works out by trying to get you into the finals, because everything is such a mess here. And Maddie, you said it best earlier that everything counts. You know, I made a mistake saying, well, this game really doesn't matter, but on the flip side, it does, because Champion Challengers League, there's so much going on right now in this league that makes every game interesting.
Yeah, and you know, it shouldn't be easy. This is the hardest. This division is the hardest division in the entire world. The 15 teams that represent the professional division so far, with the addition of 5 more challenger teams coming in, make it 20 pro teams that we're going to have here in the PSP. This is the hardest competition in the paintball world. Now, of course, any skill level can play here at the PSP. We have tons of different divisions, different styles of paintball. We even brought 10-man back with some of the legends of the sport are here to play 10-man. I wish we could film that, but and hopefully somebody's going to get a camera over there. But that being said, yes, with the new format, every single point counts. Everything counts now, and these teams are, fighting to see positioning for Sunday's competition. Let's check out the split screen breakout here. Tampa Bay Damage on the right-hand side, and Moscow Red Legion on the left-hand side. And a lot of teams are starting to double up that Aztec and also the can, Chris.
Yeah, without question, that can is actually a prime spot. But I like right now. Moscow seems to be playing really, really well. But I think that with Holiday and the Snake over here, also losing Barishnikov over here on the. Wow.
Man, it looks like Moscow Red Legion blew the horn on that one. So Tampa Bay Damage gonna go up 5-3 now.
Wow.
And that only about 30 seconds ran off the clock there. So Moscow Red Legion trying to conserve some of that clock and make a comeback here, down 2 points.
Well, they're going to need every second of that. 3:32 left on the clock, and we're going to be right back. All right, and we're back here, 3:32 left on the clock, and Moscow Red Legion losing this game to Tampa Bay Damage right now by 2 points. Todd, break down the significance of this match right now.
Okay, Moscow Red Legion has to get a win in this situation because Tampa Bay Damage is 3-0. Edmonton Impact right now, they're done for the day. They're 3-1. For Moscow Red Legion to even have a chance, they have to win this game so that they can be 3-1 and then go to point differential. If not, they'll be 2-2. Damage will be in with the bye. Edmonton Impact will be in at 3-1, and Moscow Red Legion will be going home at 2-2. Actually, they'll be fighting in the playoff.
Well, no, they get knocked out of this tournament. They're in for sure for the Champions Division, as the 4th-ranked teams in each one of the divisions will be fighting it out. And so far, that's Vicious and X Factor.
Yes, so Vicious.
My God.
Yeah, Vicious will be the 4th team. That's right.
Yeah, and at 12 plays 11, and then the 10th team waits for the winner of that, and then they will play. And the winner of that game, they go into the Champions Division, and the loser, both the losers of those games, they will be in the Challengers Division for the next event.
Yeah, you know who breaks it down the best? I mean, you go to Paintball Access. This is how I found out. Go to paintballaccess.com. You give the breakdown.
Bracket breakdowns.
The bracket breakdowns are amazing. They're perfect. They explain everything letter by letter, and that's how I actually figured it out, Manny, because it's very well put. If you guys have any questions or we're confusing you, just take a look there.
So here we go. Again, this game brought to you by Pro Edge Paintball at Houston, Texas. Running an awesome shop down there. They got Houston Heat merchandise. Heat looking good this event, and we will see them on Sunday. So right now, Legion and Damage, and this is the last game of the morning competition, and then this afternoon we're going to have Seattle Thunder taking on the Tauntauns. We're going to see the Ironmen play 187 Crew after that. Infamous will take on the Tauntauns, then Crew Thunder, and then to end the prelims, this is an old school grudge match between LA Infamous and LA Ironmen.
And that's going to be a grudge match. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I really want to see that because Infamous they're low on bodies at this event, man, and they've really dug deep, and they're 2-0 right now with even with all the hits they took their roster. And Ironman with their rebuilt team really trying to make a statement that they are one of the upper echelon teams once again and trying to contend for Houston Heat's title.
And on your screen right now, Moscow Red Legion set to break out. Alexander Bierdnikov up the middle of the field. And Daniel Holiday switching it up a little bit, runs out to the snake corner, takes a bounce from Alexander Bierdnikov. He's going to get in there alive. And Kirill Verhidny gets shot along with Alexander Bierdnikov, and they're both walking off the field right now.
Wow, that's the two best players on Moscow right now coming off at the same time, which does not bode well for their chances to come back and stay in this tournament.
You know, now that they're up by 2 bodies, I can just see Tampa Bay Damage just sitting there.
Oh, they're not going to do they don't even need to go anywhere.
No, they don't need to. They're in great positions. They have, you know, you look at the Moscow Red Legion, like you said, his body language does not look like he really wants to go anywhere, Matt. He's just holding the lane.
Yeah, you know, you can't necessarily hear him talk, but you can always tell what players are thinking and what they want to do and where they want to go by their body language. You know, look at this right now. He looks like he needs to make a move. He's looking for both sides. He's gunfighting. He's probing, looking at those incoming streams of paint. And then right now, Damage taking what was given to them, able to get here into the 50-yard line. Dorito, and you're looking at the shot cross field on that 50-yard line. Dorito. The problem is Moscow's running out of time. They have to score 2 points here as quick as possible, and it's not looking good for them right now.
No, especially not right now. I mean, and this is the last thing you want to do if you're Tampa Bay Damage is what? You do not want to get a major penalty, which we've seen so many times because, again, I mean, there's only 2 minutes left in this game, and you could pretty much just sit there.
You know what I like to see out of Damage, though? This is what I'm talking about. Damage, even though all they have to do is just sit in the bunkers, they're making smart moves, and they're still pushing forward and attacking, and that's incredibly impressive. So, in a kind of a controversial move for me right now is that Moscow Red Legion concedes this point, and I understand why they're doing that. The problem is now you're asking your team. Well, actually, look at it this way. I guess that's really the only thing they can do, because they were looking at 5 bodies on 3. So yeah, you are going to instantly, because anytime you concede the point, the other team, you know, they instantly get a free one essentially, but they have to do that. Well, they're gonna. You want to watch entertaining paintball? Watch the next two minutes, because Moscow Red Legion has to try to score 3 points in 2 minutes to even have a chance to stay in this tournament. And let's check out let's look at our sponsors real quick from the PSP. GI Sports Paintball, makers of some of the best paintballs in the game. Empire got a bunch of awesome guns coming out from them. Talk about awesome guns. DLX, the Lux is such an amazing machine. Dye, went out the DM13's an amazing CG paint. Also Eclipse. Man, they have an awesome new Ego out. And then HK Harmony going big this year, coming out with a bunch of awesome products. And, you know, like to, again, you please minimize the screen. Just listen to us talk. But go and tell these sponsors that you appreciate them for the support they're giving to the PSP. We're trying to take paintball to the next level here at Paintball Access, and we can't do it without the sponsors and the advertisers. And so, yeah, we're in for potentially 2 very entertaining minutes of paintball coming up here as Moscow Red Legion fighting for their lives in this event.
Yep. There you see Pops on the bottom left of your screen, cruising around with his dye pod bag. Tampa Bay Damage takes the field right now. Here comes Edwards, Chad Bougier, Daniel Holiday, Timmy Propst, and Keith Brown. Keith Brown getting it done for Tampa Bay Damage over there on the Dorito side of the field, with Chad Boucher really working together. So far, Kevin Brethauer doing a really good job. Looking like his team's going to go 4-0 and get the bye into the semifinals. On the breakout, Moscow Red Legion, who had sent Bierdnikov up the middle a few times to try and be effective, brings him out to the snake side this time, but Moscow loses Kovar on the breakout, heading out to that snake side corner. That snake corner is very dangerous. I haven't seen anybody make it there consistently.
Well, but the thing is, it's dangerous, but it's kind of important. You know, when you get out there, we saw Tyler Harmon win a point from back there with the help of Oliver Lane coming out the dead box or out of the penalty box. But let's see what happens here. Moscow not looking good. They lose Michael Kovar and Kirill Peridny, and those are 2 of their attackers coming off early. So I think that's pretty much going to do it here, as Moscow had a chance if they scored a really quick point, but you know, nothing really much they're going to be able to do, as minute and 12 seconds are going to tick off this clock.
Yeah, and the way to score quick points is to win the breakout. If you don't shoot anybody on the breakout, it's going to be really tough. And right now, Jason Edwards gets shot as he had filled down to that snake corner. Keith Brown stands up into a ball and takes it in the face. And Moscow Red Legion not giving up. Under a minute left to go, and they're down 3 points. This one pretty much out of hand, but Bierdnikov doesn't know how to give in. All the way into the 50 snake now. He's trying to go to work on Timmy Probst, who's just going to bounce paintballs all around that snake and just put as much pressure as he can on him with all the paint that he has left so that Bierdnikov can't go anywhere. Moscow Red Legion, there's Chad Bougere right there. He is just pounding Bierdnikov's bunker. I mean, you can see what a clear shot he has. Yeah, he's just going to dump paint, and not really let Bierdnikov play. Bierdnikov's going to have to move.
Yeah, and Bierdnikov kind of do whatever he can. It's getting as low as possible and just even put a point on the board for pride. But as time is now ticking down, and not enough from Moscow Red Legion here at the season opener, as they are going to get knocked out by Tampa Bay Damage. So Tampa Bay Damage going to take this victory, as again, it's the race to 7 or the highest point total at the end of regulation. And for this game, as Holiday and Timmy Props walk off to longtime vets for Tampa Bay Damage, it was all Tampa Bay Damage towards the end of this match, and just really solid play. Stand up by the duo of Holiday and Smith over here, but lots of contributors for Tampa Bay Damage. I mean, everyone was getting high confirmed kills for them. Everybody was contributing. And on the flip side, Moscow Red Legion had some guys out there doing work. You know, they got good production out of Bierdnikov at 6 kills. Lukashek had 6, and Kirill Peridny also had 6. So, you know, it was a close match, but just a little bit too much Tampa Bay Damage for Moscow Red Legion. And we're going to head into this afternoon's competition here. Who do you guys like in the Thunder Tauntauns game? Thunder not playing so hot this event. They had a crazy penalty-ridden match and then losing another one. Tauntauns, I'd have to give them the advantage on this one from what we've seen so far this event.
Yeah, I really like the way the Tauntauns are playing.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, but on the flip side, I mean, you never really know at the end of the day. I mean, Thunder could come out and play really, really well.
Yeah, so let's check it out here. Here's this bracket. Tampa Bay Damage goes 4-0 plus 16. Just dominant performance from them, man. They looked real good. Edmonton Impact, they caught a little hitch as they played Damage, and they went 3-1 with the plus 14. Moscow Red Legion, they are eliminated here. They are 2-2 with the plus 1, but they are a champion team for the Mid-Atlantic Open, coming at you from OXCC, and then Vicious, Shock, and looks like we have Lauren on the sidelines. Lauren, what you got for us?
Hey guys, I'm here with Jason Wheeler from the Russians. All right, so first I want to talk to you about conceding those points. What was the strategy behind conceding that second point when you still had 3 bodies on the field?
I guess it was just try to contain as much time as we can. Our coaches are the best in the world, and you know, for some reason they thought that it was necessary, and that's what they did.
So when you were behind Dorito 3 and you knew that time was running out, what was going through your mind?
Well, I saw my snake side moving up the field. There weren't much I could do. I needed like 3 points at that time. I think it was too far gone.
Well, now you guys aren't going to be able to advance to Sunday. What do you need to work on for the next tournament?
I think the language barrier affects us a little bit. We've got 2 lines, and one speaks Russian, one speaks English, and the integration of them two lines is where we need to, you know, work on.
All right, well, thank you so much. Hard loss there for the Russians, but that's all I got for you right now. Back to you, Maddie.
Yeah, so that was our Rookie of the Year, Jason Wheeler. Man, he had an amazing 2012, struggling a little bit, but you know, Moscow, they need to get some more of those role players in the game. Bierdnikov played great. The team captain Kirill played great as well, and had a couple other guys stand out. But man, it's, you know, like Wheeler broke it down pretty well. Let's check out the schedule here for this afternoon's competition as we are closing out these prelim brackets. Thunder is going to be taking on the new team of the PSP, the Tauntaun Flingueurs from France. One of the best teams in Europe, man. And they are now coming over here to America to show their skills off. And then the Ironmen are going to take on Upton 187 Crew. Upton 187 Crew beat the Ironmen last season. That was one of their 4 victories, and or 4 games that they won. And then, you know, Upton 187 Crew kind of underperforming so far at this event. Los Angeles Infamous takes on the Tauntauns in what should be a good matchup. Infamous is 2-0 right now, looking pretty good with the Skeleton Crew that they're running. Upton 187 Crew is going to be playing Seattle Thunder, who needs to step it up. And then to close the day out, old school grud match against LA Infamous and Los Angeles Ironmen. So we're going to be back after a short break. Do not go anywhere. I'm Matty Marshall with Todd Martinez and Chris Asoy here at the season opener for the 2013 PSP season. We'll be right back.